what I want to do is go ahead and get started here. Take about 45, 50 minutes of, I'm going to give you an outline of what we're going to do today. And while you're doing that, I just want to give you a brief background about First Class and about myself and what we do here in the real estate world and how you can become involved in it. So I'm just going to give you some background about what we're going to do today. And first of all, I'm going to talk about who First Class Real Estate is. Give you a little background about myself as the broker and mentor of this particular firm. I'm going to present you with what we have at First Class, or what we call your professional realtor growth, career growth plan. We're going to talk about how we have about the highest compensation in our industry today, which is a really popular thing, obviously. We're going to talk about what we do with lead generation and some of the tools that you'll have in your real estate bucket, if you will, to help you be successful in real estate through First Class. And then we talk about the training that we provide as well as our culture, things that we do, things that we believe in. And then we're going to talk at the end towards, if you're not licensed, what are the steps it takes to get licensed, and about what your investment is going to be in your career. And I'll also talk about what it's like to get on board with First Class Real Estate Focal Point. And then we'll have a Q&A session at the end to answer any specific questions you have at the end. So without further ado, let's go ahead and, all right, so who is First Class? Well, First Class Real Estate, we are a national franchise. We've got over 100 franchises around the country. Franchises means offices. And we've been in business since, First Class has been in business since, I'll say for the last 12 years. And one of the things that we like to tell folks about First Class, what kind of makes us distinctive, is that we're a full service real estate company that desires to help you, the agent, grow your business. My client as the broker is you. You are my client. Yes, do I have buyers and seller clients? Yes, I do. I've been in this business for 18 years. I got a few clients. But my main client is the agents that work for us. And we'll talk about that in a little bit. But like everyone else, we offer competitive splits. We're dealing with commissions, and we also give a lot of support. And we give you some distinctives as to why we think First Class support and mentorship is important in our compensation. But it's really the culture, the things that we believe in, the things that drive us, things that drive you personally, that fit in with what we do. That's what distinguishes us from every other outfit that's out there today. So I put together a game plan. The company has put together a game plan to help you grow your business with a team of individuals without you having to invest a lot of money and break the bank. Okay. All right. So let me just give you a quick background on our CEO. His name is Ryan Finch. Again, he started the business called First Class Real Estate back in 2005. He's the headquarters, if you will, is in Virginia Beach. And he started out with just a handful of agents. And now he's grown that business over the last 12 years to extend to well over 100 franchisees like myself here in Greenville and all over the rest of the country. And right now we have about 1,200 agents that work in the various offices here at First Class. My particular office is called First Class Focal Point. That distinguishes us from the other First Class offices that may be in Atlanta or Columbia, in other areas of the country. So we're in Greenville, South Carolina. Again, our headquarters is in West Virginia. All right, sorry about the quiz. We'll see if we can deal with that a little bit later. All right. All right. Give a little background about myself. Again, my name is Ken Quedak. I've lived and worked in the Greenville community since 1982 when I first arrived here. Arrived to go to college. I went to Bob Jones University, got an accounting degree, worked at a large CPA firm, became a management consultant and an auditor, as well as a tax advisor for many large clients here in the area. Then I had my own practices. I had my own CPA practice. Then I sold that, got into financial services, was a registered investment advisor for about 5 years. And then When I sold that particular practice, the financial practice, my wife and I, you can see my wife here, Joellen, she's actually our senior buyer agent and our lead training broker for the firm. Everybody that comes on will be training with her so that there's consistency. But anyway, we're sitting on the back porch of our house drinking some coffee one morning. My wife asked me, well, now that we're not in financial services, what do you think you want to do? Well, I had an opportunity to teach accounting at Gardner Webb up in North Carolina. Would have been a nice, cushy, easy job, but quite frankly, I found accounting by that time to be quite boring because I've been on the sales side for a number of years at that point. And so I said, well, what do you want to do? And she says, well, I like looking at houses. And believe it or not, for the last 18 years, we've been looking at houses simply because of that one comment right there, which got the snowball rolling down the hill, as it were. So anyway, we've been in real estate for 18 years. I worked for a couple of large firms. I worked with Keller Williams when I first started for a few years. I worked for a family outfit, worked for two actual pure virtual firms. One of them recently, I was a broker associate with EXP Realty. And so I've been through the gamut of, being at a brick and mortar business, having my own brick and mortar. I had my own independent firm called Orion Realty for about 7 years. And we had people working for us. But what I discovered that working as an independent, you're way behind the game as far as being able to compete in the real estate world. It's better off to have be a part of a franchise, and that's when I came across First Class Real Estate. I was able to become one of their franchisees and master broker here in upstate South Carolina. So my job is not only just to build our local practice, but to take the people that we're building and create them to be their own brokers in charge of their own firm here in the area. And we'll talk about how we do that. I also have a graduate degree in religion from Greenville Presbyterian Theological Seminary. I'm also enrolled, trying to finish up my MBA at Clemson University. And some people ask, well, why are you, I'll be honest with you, I'm 60 years old. People ask, well, why are you going back to college, in your 50s and 60s? Well, one, at 60, Clemson University allows you to go for free, which is kind of nice. It's a state benefit that we have in South Carolina. And I always wanted to finish my MBA that I started over 35 years ago when I first got out of undergrad. So now I'm able to finish it here with Clemson. And people ask, well, why do you go to school that, at that late age in your life? And so, well, first of all, obviously, like everybody else goes to school, get education just to learn more stuff. Okay, so that's important. But also what's important to a person in my age group is that the things that I've learned, I like to know that someone else agrees with that. So it's affirmation of what you thought and what you learned over these years. And then there's the simple fact of having fellowship with like-minded people who are in business in the community. And so that networking opportunity actually does benefit our firm directly, even at this point. I actually run a network, a small business network out of downtown. We meet twice a week on a Tuesday night called the Liberty Networking Organization. And so we actually end up picking up clients for ourselves as well as for the people that work for us simply by networking, which quite frankly is one of the best ways to obtain clientele. I also in the past graduated from Tom Hopkins Sales Mastery as well as Brian Tracy. You may have heard of those two fellows. Actually, I was personally mentored by both of them, for one for 3 years and another one for 5 years. So many of the sales techniques that I use, the sales consulting techniques in particular, I learned at the hands directly from Tom Hopkins. And I do share some of his stuff in some of our live training. So I published some books, I've written magazine, contributed articles, particularly business articles, the business magazines, recognized as a business strategist, and I've owned and operated several businesses. So what I like to tell folks, and everybody's going to be a little bit different, but what I like to tell folks is that I'm a business person who got into real estate. Okay. I'm not just some fellow who decided, I'm just going to sell real estate and not really have a background. in it. That's like everybody else. And that's fine as far as it goes, but my distinctive is that I bring a business aspect to it because, quite frankly, real estate is a contracting business. And everything that I've done since becoming a CPA 30 some odd years ago has been dealing with contracting and understanding it. So one of my backgrounds, actually, quite frankly, is business contracting and business license law. Okay, so that's enough about myself. What I'd like to do now is talk about how that translates to your success. And in the CPA world, and doctors and lawyers pretty much run our firms the same way. You have people who come in at the ground level. In our firm, we call that partner one. Those are people who just got their license. Partner twos are people who've got a year experience. Then you got your seniors who've got a lot of experience, and they quite frankly start leading and mentoring some of the junior partners, like the 1 and 2 in this area. So if you don't have a license and you get your license, we're going to show you how you do that here in South Carolina. When you come on board with us, you're going to be in the partner one level, and we're going to help you focus mainly on buyer clients. And there's a reason for that. One is that buyer clients are usually ready to go, and so you can put some money in your pocket, fairly quick, which is a good thing. Also, they're more plenteous. They do take some hand-holding and some work, but the second thing is buyers are not as critical, as far as, hey, how many houses have you sold, like a seller client would be. Buyers don't care how many houses you sold. They just say, can you get me the ones that I'm looking for, and you can make them happier a lot quicker. Now, 80% of those clients that you have in your first year are probably going to be buyer clients. And the 20% that are seller clients, like many of the people that work for us, their first sales, their first listing actually came from one of their buyer clients who had to sell their house in order to buy their next house. That happens a lot. And if you did a good job with, helping them with the buyer, the listing kind of carries itself. So you get that experience listing properties from the people who already know and trust you to help them buy a house. And that way it carries through. How many houses have you sold? Well, I sold one yesterday. You don't have to say that's the only one you ever sold, but you sold one yesterday. Well, that's impressive to somebody's looking, for you to sell their house. All right. And then so after about 6 to 12 months worth of experience, you got enough experience, you move on to the partner 2 level. And then after about 2 years, then you're in the senior partner level again. Each increasing your focus on sellers and mentoring as you're going through the system. Now, the entrepreneur is now someone that's had at least 3 years experience, and they're able to get their broker's license in South Carolina. In South Carolina, you have to not only take a test to become a real estate agent to begin with, but you have to have 3 years, hold that license for 3 years in order to take another test, which is called the broker test, and that way you can become a broker associate with our firm. And this way you can actually kind of work independently, and that's what the entrepreneur does. Let's say he's built up a good book of business. So they have about 1,000 or more prospects in his database that he can talk to and convince that he's the right agent for them, and stay pretty busy doing that. But after, you could be what we call a solopreneur in our firm, but you can also add on to being a broker, being a team leader entrepreneur. That means now you're starting to build a team of partner agents that eventually, if you get enough of those people and you build a pretty good business as a team member, I'm going to put you in business as your own broker in charge of your own firm in a different part of the county. That's, obviously mutually agreed to. And you can take those agents with you that want to go. So what I'm trying to get at here is that if you start from the ground floor, or if you come on board from wherever you're at in your experience in your real estate journey, my goal is if you want to, is to actually become your own broker in charge, run your own firm, manage your own people, and increase your compensation as your reward. And so that's what we call the broker in charge, or the branch manager, where you're not focusing on buyer clients at this point. You're focusing on getting some listings, but more so you're focusing on, like what I'm doing, I focus on mentoring and training those team leaders and their fellow agents. Now, the team leaders, they're responsible for the training as well and maintaining the training that we give corporately, and they're the ones that kind of stay with the partner level agents on a regular basis. So, well, let's look at how that pans out as far as money is concerned, because obviously we don't work for free. I don't, you don't. Of course, if you want to work for free, I'll put you to work, but that would be asking really a bad ask. But so let's just forget about that. So let's talk about the money, where the rubber meets the road. Now, if you're a brand new agent, you've never sold a stick of real estate in your life, you're going to come in at first class at the first level, which is the partner one level. And you're going to be in that level till you get about 10 to 12 transactions under your belt, total about $3.5 million in sales. And your commission split's going to be 70-30, means that if let's say the commission check gross from the client is $10,000, you're going to get $7,000 of that, and the firm gets $3,000. But there's no transaction fees. In fact, all the leads that we provide, there's no additional cost to that. So strictly, we're working on a split arrangement in your first year, your first $3.5 million worth of sales. Now, as you have experience, you need less and less of our help, maybe less and less of our corporate leads. So you move up. You can move up to the partner 2 level. As no one says you have to, but most people will. So when you get about 3.5 to 7.5 million in sales, so another 25 or so transactions total, meaning not additional 25 from the 12, but 25 altogether in your career, you'll be at the 80-20 split. And then there's a small transaction fee attached to that, which quite frankly, you can bill to the client. So it's not necessarily coming out of your pocket. And then after you reach about 7.5 million sales, you've got 25 plus transactions in your career. You can qualify for the senior partner level, where your splits now become 90-10. And usually by the time you get 50 transactions under your belt, that's about 3 to 5 years, depending how successful you've been in getting transactions. And your transaction fee would only be $249, and 10% would pay to the first class realty. Now, once you got those 50 transactions or more, really more, $15 million in business, that's where you get our 100% compensation plan. That means if the commission check is $100,000, you're getting $100,000. If your commission check's $10,000, and you'll get $10,000 that paid to you, less a $495 transaction fee. Now, there's firms out there that will charge you a cap. I worked for both of those firms, or 2 of those firms that specialize in that. And on average, they're going to charge you about $22,000 in a typical year. You can usually reach that cap within about 10 to 12 transactions per year. That's $22,000. But if you're doing that, and by the way, believe it or not, they're not really giving you any help. They sell you leads. They don't give you leads. They don't really give you much in the way of personal training. You'll get the corporate training, which everybody does. It's really not that big of a deal. But if it's free, how bad can it be, kind of thing. So if you were to take $500 transaction fee, or $495, $500, you divide it into 22,000. Now you have a per transaction cost of about $1,800 to $2,200 per transaction. So if you are an experienced agent, you've got $15 million of transactions done in your career. You can prove it to me through the MLS or whatever. Why would you pay $22,000 for 10 transactions when that same 10 transactions would cost you $4,950? Okay, with first class. You wouldn't. All right. So if you know people that are frustrated, they want to cut some back to their, they want to pick up that extra $14,000, $15,000 they're paying at a current firm, have them come talk to me. I'd be glad to talk to them and show them the math. And the thing is, it doesn't go away. That cap recurs every year, or every 12 months. They have a rolling year, depending on when you started in the firm. Okay. So we do things pretty much straight up. You're going to have your commission splits based on your experience, how much help we're giving you. And then when you're pretty much on your own, you don't need our coaching and all that kind of stuff. You proved it. You got $15 million in sales. you're just going to do a transaction, kind of like what we call the E-Trade model. You want to clear your transactions. Legally, you need a broker to clear your transactions. We're just going to charge you a transaction fee to clear your transactions. Okay. Now, the only other fee that we have, and all of our agents pay that, I pay this, is $100 per month. And you can see what that covers there. First of all, it's going to cover all the personal mentorship, except on the entrepreneur side. But everything else is covered. You can come to all the weekly trainings that we have, which we have live trainings in our office on Wednesday afternoons from 3:30 to 5 downtown Greenville. We also have online First Class University, which gives you all the basic, it's kind of like basic training, how to market to clients and things like that. And we go through some of that in our live training as well. And also we have Zoom trainings on Friday mornings from about 10 to 11. Not everybody comes to all the trainings. It depends on, where they're at. They got a client, of course, that's the reason, go serve your client. The training can come later, but go serve your client. But we go through all the different things that, that's in First Class University, how to deal with clients, how to, we talk about the different clients that you're currently working with and trying to help you get through those particular transactions that you're currently working on. So we focus our live trainings on where the agents are at that point in time. So basically, our team leader, in this case right now, is Joellen. She's polling the agents to find out where they're at, and she gives me the topics to discuss. Of course, she discussed some of the topics as well. So I don't do all the talking. I do share that with the team leaders. And of course, we have KV Core. That's part of the $100 a month. That may not mean anything to you, but one of the reasons why I left being an independent broker, I had my own firm for 7 years, Orion Realty Broker here in Greenville. The reason why I left that, because the technology became expensive for an independent. In fact, KV Core, which is our client management system that keeps all of our clients, and we can advertise and communicate with them, and everything's recorded right there in KV Core. It also has all the drip campaigns. That would cost me $700 a month when I had my own firm, Orion. Because I'm with First Class, we have that plus much more for $100 a month. So you can see, being that I'm a business person, I'm going to make a no-brainer situation. Yeah, I'm going to pay $100 instead of $700. But that's not it. First of all, we have not only the First Class Universities online, that costs a lot of money independently. Again, that's part of $100. We have the swag stores where you buy your business cards, your signs for your listings, and all the other paraphernalia, the pens, the cups, the flags, anything you do to promote yourself and or your clients can be done at the swag store, and there's no additional cost for that. We have customizable graphics that you can use in your social media. So you don't have to, come up with your own social media graphics. It's all done for you. All you do is pretty much just download them from your First Class University into your free Canva account, change your name, change your picture, and boom, you're done in 5 minutes. We also have a discount ticket program that our agents take advantage of personally, but they also do it for their clients. So so if it's a $100 ticket to go to a concert, you're probably going to be able to pick it up for $45 to $55, and you can actually give those to your clients. It makes a great thank you gift. We also have a concierge service called Easy Move. It helps people, helps your clients, re-hook up their new utilities and turn off their old utilities at the property, so they don't have to guess, and you don't have to go figure it out either. We also have, every one of our agents gets a corporate email address. There's nothing wrong with AOL and Google or Gmail and Yahoo and all that stuff, but having a corporate email, Joe P at firstclassre.com says that you're part of a professional organization that's separate from being personal. So it adds that extra credibility to you. Now, one of the things I do for all our agents is that I do what's called a new agent packet. I provide them a yard sign, I get them a name badge, I get I get 1,000 business cards now, and then a realtor lockbox. So that's a couple $100 that I spend right up front. But the main thing that you're getting that's really important is the leads. So as partner one, you don't have to pay for leads unless you want to get your own. That's fine. But the branch, we do all kinds of marketing. We actually can market inside KV Core and send those leads directly to your KV Core account so that within seconds you can actually get their information, call them back, find out why they're interested in that property. In fact, we don't all just market our own listings. We market listings that are in any listings that we like that are in the MLS. Of course, we get permission to do that from the other brokers. That's fine. We have to do that, but we're able to do that. And so we're getting clients from other people's listings. And that's really what the MLS is really all about, quite frankly. It's co-opting and sharing listings, not sharing clients, but sharing listings. Okay. But the other distinct that we have at First Class that I don't think you're really going to find anywhere else is my MBA business and knowledge that I provide as part of our training and mentorship here at First Class Focal Point. One of the things that, being that I have a business background for 35 years, I'm always weaving that into the training, particularly on the sales side. Being with Tom Hopkins and Brian Tracy all those years, I know how to do the sales speak, you might say. I help with the writing of the listing information that goes in the MLS. So we tell a story, not, well, it has 3 bedrooms and 2 baths, and it's got a big backyard. Okay, that's fine, but tell me why I should live there and not live, down the street. Okay, that's the kind of thing that we do, and we provide you that background, that information, which leads me back to the personal mentorship. This is how we mentor, particularly our new agents, but our less experienced agents in the firm, at whatever level that you're at. When you come into the firm, when you come into First Class, first of all, generally you're going to come to live meetings. Now, you also are going to be invited to come on some of the listing appointments that either myself or Joellen has, or our buyer clients that we're showing around. You're going to be able to shadow us and see what we're doing. We'll actually probably have you participate a little bit as you gain experience. But here's another cool thing, and we're going to talk about how you're going to benefit from this in a later slide. But let's just say somebody in your family, a group of friends that is looking to buy and sell some real estate pretty soon, but you're not licensed yet, but you sure like to get paid. Well, the first thing we do, and this is what I want to stress to every agent, this is the most important thing. Your client comes first, okay? That buyer, that seller has to be serviced, but you say, I don't have a license. Well, that's fine. So what I do is that you refer that client, and myself and Joellen will take care of that client. You'll ride along with us. You'll shadow us. You'll see how it's going. You can't talk about real estate until you're actually licensed, but you're going to see how we do it. And then we're also going to, when we close that transaction, once you get your license, we're going to take that fee that you would have made as a licensee, put it in escrow. So when you get your license, the day you get your license, we're going to cut you that check. Okay. So let's say it's a $10,000 commission that maybe your parents are going to sell a house. I'll list it for you. I'll list it for them. And if the fee is $10,000, your share is going to be $7,000. I'm going to take that money. We're going to put it in an escrow account. And when you get your license, I will hand you a check for $7,000. Okay. There's nobody else out there that's doing that. But this is something I learned that worked really well in the financial services business. Because, studying for examinations, it takes time. And you don't want to lose a client. So why not book some money today? So when you get your license, you can actually, hit the ground running with some money in your pocket. Sounds like a pretty good deal, doesn't it? Sure does. All right. So that's where we're at on the growth plan and what's available in some of the investment and the return, the income that you're going to receive as you progress through the system. And I know there's tons of questions that'll come with this. We'll answer that in the Q&A, I'm sure. So just make a note of your questions. All right. This is just a little shameless self-promotion, we call it. These are the things that First Class does compared to some of the other larger firms that are out there today. So you just kind of look at a quick glance of this, and I will actually email you this presentation, so you'll have it, with you to look over as after we get done. But basically, we like to concentrate on the support, the management coaching, the leads. We have attorneys, we have lenders, all the people, all the vendors that you need to take care of your clients are all vetted. And quite frankly, they didn't come, we didn't go out to the neighborhood and say, okay, we're, three people, three lawyers quote your business, let's see if we're going to take your business. All of our vendors, our home inspectors, our lenders, our attorneys, all came as a result of happy clients who recommended them to us. And when we did the transaction with them, it was a smooth transaction. They didn't screw up the transaction. That's the reason why this is particular to have vetted vendors, because you don't want to be spending, I don't know, $500, $600, maybe $1,000 of money and time marketing a property just to have some paralegal not get it and blow up your situation for you, or some home inspector who thinks he's doing a great job by pointing out every little nitpicky thing and driving the buyer crazy, and putting doubts in their mind. These are not the kind of people. We need fair people. We don't need people who have self-interest or ignorance working with us. So that's extremely important. I want to point that out. Of course, we have the weekly training. We do the mentorship. In fact, we're not going to let you fly solo, as it were, without you being confident that you can take out a buyer on your own. You can find them properties and take them out and open up the doors and write the contracts. In fact, talk about contracts. Where's the one thing? One of the technology that we have is transaction management. We use a program called Brokerman. And inside Brokerman, what I have done for my particular agents is that I have set up all the forms that you need, and I put in the blanks, or put in the boxes that you need to fill out in order to prepare those forms for either a buyer or a seller type client. And also, which is really nice, is that you should get those forms all electronically signed inside Brokerman. You're not going to have to download the form, type it in on your PDF thing, which, where you have to pay money to make the changes, nor are you going to have to buy a separate e-signing account. Everything for that $100 is all right there, and it saves you a ton of time. So you don't have to download, and you don't have to fax, not that anybody really does it anymore, or scan an email. Everything's done inside the Brokerman system. It makes life real easy. You don't have to upload anything. It's all done, 99% done for you. Obviously, anything is never 100%. So there's always some minor adjustments, but we've eliminated most of them, saving you time and saving you having to guess, did I do the right thing? And of course, I can see in Brokerman, I can see everything that my agents are doing. And so I can look at it within minutes and tell them that, you need to do this, add this particular item on, or the word's misspelled or something like that. All right. Now, how do we generate leads? I talked to Brad a little bit about KV Core. This is our CRM. This is actually a screen print of what I did here a little while ago. This is the fourth one over at the top, 5302 North Highway 101. That's one of our listings. That's a listing I have. It's actually under contract, but people can still go online and see that ad. And then when they do, they actually come right into our KV Core account via Facebook, I think in this case. And so I now know Juan Baltazar is interested in that property. Something got his attention. See at the bottom, I can email him, I can call him, I can send him a text, I can do a video, me, ask him a question right there in his account. It goes straight to his email, or text, phone, or whatever, within seconds. So I can deal directly with him, and it's all recorded inside the system. Now, this one here from Michelle Redding, 6 Woodburn, she's actually went out and saw several different properties that were of interest to her. She's on what we call a drip campaign. So whenever a property comes up on a scheduled search that she has, looking for something in this price range in this area, apparently a Taylor's in probably a 250 range. that will pop up in here too. So what it does, it gives, this is my account, so it gives me the opportunity to call Michelle back and say, hey, I saw you were looking at that house. You want to know any more information, or how can I help you? You want to go see it? That sort of thing. Okay, so it gives me a lead in. Now, if this was our other agent account, and they were advertising their listing, that would show up on their account. I would see it because I'm the broker in charge, but I also know that, let's see, I think there was one on here. No, I think it doesn't bother. Anyway, I can see when my other agent gets a lead as well. So, and so can the team leader, so they can ask, later on, how do we go, that sort of thing. And, what kind of questions came up that maybe you didn't know how to answer. And that's how we do some of our training. All right. Now, as an MBA candidate and being in business, being a management consulting, particularly in the area of marketing for the last 35 years, I happen to know that there's two aspects to all your marketing. So when you put an ad out there, whether it's on the billboard or a text or an email or a Facebook thing, a Facebook ad, you got two responses. The first response is what we call the direct response. And that's when they see your ad, they went on, they touched the ad, they looked at the website where that particular house was marketed inside our KV Core account, by the way. So they get all the information and it's recorded. That's called direct marketing. We can talk to those persons. They're interested in something right now, okay? But there's also the majority of people out there who see your ad, they're not interested right now. At least maybe they're just kicking tires, or maybe, they're planning something, to happen in 2 or 3, maybe 6 months from now. This is where the drip campaign comes into play. So out of 100 people that might respond to a Facebook ad, 1 or 2 may be ready to do something today, but what about those other 98 or 99? And so they get routine emails, texts from us, and this is a list in our library of the different drip campaigns that are used to nurture these clients. They saw the ad 3 months ago. Now they're getting an email saying, hey, asking them a question, where are they at in their journey on buying or selling a home. And so it helps us stay in contact with them, it gives them an opportunity to reach back out, when they're ready down the road. So this is very important. Now, when I worked for Keller Williams, they had KV Core, but they didn't have any of this library. In fact, if I wanted a library of drip campaigns, I had to go get it myself. And actually, I wrote a number of these things. And so that's the difference between paying somebody $100 and someone else with $100 with more benefits. So this is the reason why I point this out, because when I was with KV EXP, we had KV Core, but we basically had to fill out all the information ourselves. We didn't get the library that we have at First Class. So this is an extra benefit that's extremely important. It'll put thousands of dollars in your pocket, not only this year, but in years to come. All right. So that's how we do lead generation. Now I mentioned briefly about our brokerment. And this is an example of, we have a buyer agent in this particular case. Actually, this is a sale that we did. We have all the forms actually in the library, and the blue portions that you see on the form there to the right, that's the stuff that automatically filled in from the transaction. So each client has a transaction, name, rank, serial number, tax records, that sort of thing. All of that populates into the form when you pull up the form, and then you can see there's an e-sign button right here that you can actually e-sign right inside the brokerment. And this is a static page, so I can't open it up for you. But anyway, what makes this important is that everything stays inside the client's file online inside brokerment. So you can see it, you can recall it later on if somebody asks, you can resend it, particularly when it comes to negotiating terms in initial offer, and then there's a counter offer. You don't have to go back and rewrite the whole doggone paperwork all over again. You just change the one term and the transaction reloads. and you resend it as a new offer with the new information on it. So it makes the offer really clean. Most people appreciate that. Okay. Let's see. And actually, here's the library that fills out that transaction page you just saw. But you can see on the form itself, there's a tan box and a purple box with some people in it. Those are already set up where in this case, the buyers of a house will automatically be asked to put their initials into that box when you email it them for e-signing. So you don't have to figure out that I checked the right box and not check the right box. It's already done for you. You just pretty much have to send them the form and put the right contact information in. It's pretty simple. All right. Now, as far as the mentoring and the training is concerned, this first class page here, it's mainly talking about the swag store. Again, this is where you can order all your extra signs, cards, things like that, shirts that you want to wear, ball caps. I mean, anything to promote yourself and promote your practice. The culture of our firm is such that, of course, we have our first class university, we have weekly trainings, and our firm locally, we see over on the gold side, the gold lettering. So we have live training in our office every Wednesday. I think I talked about that. We do Zoom trainings on Friday. Of course, we can do more depending on what the needs are. But right now, that seems to be working pretty good. We have First Class University online 24/7. That comes out of HQ, which when I refer to HQ, I'm talking about Ryan Finch's headquarters there in Virginia Beach, where the franchise is located. But then from the corporate, from Virginia Beach, they actually have 13 monthly corporate specialized trainings that you can do online with them. And they'll send out, every agent gets an email saying, here's, we brought in, Joe Smith from the Alabama office. He's excellent with social media, for example. And then you can join in on that and find out, what little specialty things that he does that might, make a difference in your particular book of business. So that's how our culture runs. Now we have quarterly awards that we do. So this next one coming up, we're actually going to just, celebrate by going over to Topgolf and banging some balls, maybe get rid of a little bit of frustration, have something to drink, and just to share time together with not only the agents, but their spouses, that sort of thing. So we kind of get together, but we recognize people for the work that they've done. There's annual sale awards that the corporation does, the headquarters. So we call that the President's Club. And I forget what the cutoff. It's just like the top 100 people get recognition, but everybody gets to come to the party to celebrate. So nobody is left out. You just have to get there to book rooms, in the hotels and stuff like that. So if you didn't win a prize, you'd be there. All right, so that's how our training and marketing and our culture generally works. Obviously, you need experience to see it over time and see how it fleshes out, but hopefully give you enough information here to kind of see generally where we're heading with this. All right, just briefly, I want to talk about the business coaching because that's the distinctive that I bring to First Class Focal Point versus all the other first class who have their own distinctions, don't get me wrong, but other firms that don't necessarily have a business person that's actually running the business as the broker in charge. Now, you can, again, I'll send you this and you can look at this video later on YouTube, but it's the introductory section of a business coaching plan that I put together called How I Put $100,000 in My Clients' Pockets in 100 Days. And this is not just for realtors. It was designed for anybody in small business. And I did this at the Greer Chamber of Commerce here last year. So it's a nice video. And then we actually have a full library of training over a 52-week period of time, strictly on how to run, market, and manage your small business successfully so that you know how to put this money in your pocket. This is going to be helpful, particularly if you're thinking, I'd like to start in real estate, but eventually like to become like Ken, have my own real estate firm, my own practice, but I got to learn how to run a business. And, that's part of what I bring to the table for our agents. Now, what's down here at the bottom is an Excel spreadsheet. One of the first things I start out with my new agents. They want to know, well, I want to make a certain amount of money, in this case, $100,000. How much effort do I have to put in every day? How many hours is it going to take? Which means if I want to make X amount of dollars, how many phone calls do I need to make? How many appointments do I need to go on? Based on how many appointments actually turn into clients. And so to make about $100,000 in our business, given the current market here in Greenville, you're going to have to see and do business with about 14 to 15 clients throughout the year. The majority of those are going to be buyers. In this case, it was 11 buyers, and the listing sides are going to be about 3. So it's not only going to tell you, how many appointments you need to set, helps you stay on track each week, each month to make your annual goals, but it's also going to tell you, where's your money going to come from, buyers or sellers? So where should you focus your attention? Well, on the buyer side, obviously, and the listings are probably going to come as a result of dealing with the buyers who are probably the ones that would be selling their houses, the ones you're taking out looking at stuff. All right. Give you a little bit more about our culture. What our mission statement here is at First Class Real Estate is that we believe in a culture of excellence. Every day, our company will serve our sellers, our buyers, and our agents to have a smooth and successful transaction and develop the career of our family of agents and support staff through our hard work. Our integrity, in other words, we're going to, what we say is what we do. And if for some reason we stumble, we're going to apologize and try to make it right. And we have defined processes, like you've already seen, that we think are the best in the industry. And the reason why I call my firm Focal Points, because one of the things I learned from Brian Tracy is that you become what you think about most of the time. So if I can help you focus on that area that's important to you right now, in your career, let's say brand new out of the gate, the focus is buyer agents. Okay, what do we got to do to get a buyer client? What do we got to do to get the buyers, to become buyers? And how do we move that transaction? So once you've got that settled, it's only going to take you, a handful of people to figure all that out and be confident. Then you can start focusing on another area of the business, which in this case is probably going to be sellers. Now you're probably in your second year tier of business. And then, okay, now you get really comfortable. One of the best ways to really solidify it is teach it to somebody else. And so you have a friend or someone that just joined the business that you would like to mentor and teach them the business so that you actually become available as a team leader in the future. And eventually you do that enough times, get enough people working under you, 10, 15, 20 agents that you've done that with over, say, a 5 to 8 year period of time, you now can set up your own real estate firm under First Class. And I'll show you, if that's what you want to do, I will actually buy the franchise for you, set you up in that location that you want to do. Let's say it's Simpsonville, Spartanburg, Easley, Anderson, whatever. I'll set that up for you and will be your advisor for as long as needed. Okay, so that's where we're going with that. And so, to be honest with you, I say 5 to 8 years from the day you start. That's probably a reasonable expectation. But it doesn't take 5 to 8 years to build up 10 to 20 agents under you. Actually, I usually get about 3 to 4 agents on my own at various stages coming in, 3 to 4 agents per month that are signing up with First Class. Okay. And so it doesn't take long. It might take you half a year to a year to actually get people to want to work underneath you. Okay. Particularly as a newer agent, it might take a little bit longer because just the fact that you don't have as much time to share with them. But I do the recruiting along with you. You're not alone doing that. Make sense? Just kind of spell out the corporate culture. This is how we change lives and sell a few houses along the way. First, we believe that God is our foundation, which is reflected in our culture. We give everybody a fair shake, as you might say. So I like to say we're a faith-friendly organization, regardless of your faith. We serve to be great with integrity. Okay, there's a lot of great people out there that do things. They do great things, but they kind of did it in a way that maybe they kind of cheated, or they took shortcuts, or they used people. One of the things I like to say, and this is one of my mentors speaking, Tom Hopkins, has said, if you want to be successful in sales, you should have the attitude of loving people and using money to be able to do that, instead of using people and loving money. So if you love money so much that you're going to use people, we're the wrong place for you. Okay. I don't think there's many people that get in real estate to do it, but they always seem to be the loudest ones out there and the ones that do the TV shows at night. Yeah, you too can drive a Lamborghini and live in a $10 million mansion outside of Las Vegas. There's very few people that actually do that. But what I like to say is that if you love people enough to give them a fair shake, be honest with them, make sure that they get taken care of first. Then you use your money to do that. You're going to be a much happier person. You're actually going to be much more successful. Why? Because that's the way nature is intended, is that taking care of people. When you do that, you don't have to worry about where the dollars come from. And that's the way I've ran my business for the last 18 years as a realtor. And I ran my other businesses that way too when I was a CPA and financial advisor. And I was extremely successful. And I didn't get to be a broker in charge simply by, just trying to step over people and using them and charging, inexorbitant fees. In fact, I've got people right now who are under contract with us, don't have their license right now. And the reason they're under contract with us is, when you go to the college football coach goes to high school and he says, okay, you need to come to Clemson or Auburn or whatever. And if you sign up, this is what we'll do for you. Well, I want to do for them and to encourage them to sign up. Yeah. But I will go as far as, and I already did this last week and one the week before. I got two ladies right now who are studying for their exam, and I sat down with them to go through the tough parts of their examination, the questions that they have that they couldn't get from their other teacher at the time. And that's the kind of time I'm spending on people that I can't make a dime on them. And so that's how you determine whether you love people as opposed to money, is that are you willing to invest in the person and trust and have faith that the money will follow in due course. So if you can do that, then you're in the right business, all right, in the right firm. One of the things we try to stress is that we never leave today without an appointment for tomorrow. And that could be an appointment, with our current client, but most likely with a prospect who's looking. So always trying to set an appointment, always staying busy, because production drives your revenue, right? That's very important. Our process is proven. There is no try or you can't in our vocabulary. It's like Brian Tracy used to teach me that, teaches his students, is that don't ever say you can't do something, particularly if you never really gave it a real try. So people ask you, well, can you play the trombone? Well, I don't know is my answer, because I've never really tried to play the trombone. But maybe you took piano lessons and somebody asked you, can you play the piano? And I said, well, I took piano lessons for 5 years as a kid. I can't play a lick. Well, chances are you can't at that point, but you never know unless you actually try it. So what we're trying to do here at First Class, and with my experience, is try to keep you from making trying things not knowing. In other words, we're cutting down on the experience so that you can actually ramp up faster. And that's how you make the money, is by doing the right things the right way as fast as possible. Okay. We've already spent the money trying to figure this out, and we work with other people that have done that. And so anybody can learn from their own mistakes, but a truly smart person learns from the mistakes of other people. And in fact, our best teachers are the mistakes that we learn from, but it doesn't have to be from ourselves. It could be from what other people have done that we've known or read about. We like to say we don't grow followers, we create leaders. This is the reason why, I'm interested in people that eventually want to become team leaders and perhaps even go a step further in owning their own franchise. We attract agents that create opportunities. Our the last process will dominate the market. Still kind of working on that one. So it takes that's more of a long-term feature. We believe in relationship-based marketing. So, getting out there in front of people, networking. It's one reason why I have a business network. I actually picked up a $1.4 million client almost instantaneously as they joined the network. So that was pretty cool. And our model always remained the same: people over pennies. So love people and use money. Don't use money. Don't use people and love money. Now, I talked quickly about quarterly sales awards and celebrations of some of the things that went on. This more at the national level, the annual award celebration. So if you're in the top 100, usually get a certificate and maybe a glass plaque, that sort of thing. And everybody gets a T-shirt, but everybody gets to come to the party. No one's left out of the party. Again, these are some of the top people that we had in the firm over the year. You can see the number one agent, top agent for 2022. Just on listing, she did $12 million in business. Now, I'll tell you right now, because I know Ashley to some degree, she doesn't do all that by herself. She has a team of people that help her do that. Same with Luann down there in Alabama. So even though they got the award, it's they had some people helping them do that, and so that's why we all share in the awards. All right, so let's get down to the nitty gritty. You want to get started in real estate. We're talking about investing in yourself. The first thing I recommend you do is you review the requirements that to become a licensee in South Carolina. You go to the LLR's website under real estate, and it'll tell you exactly what you have to do as far as taking the licensing course and getting taking the examination and fingerprinting. But that's as far as it goes. So the first thing you do, I recommend, is that you read the LLR's website, get familiar with the expectations. And then when you sign up for your real estate courses, there's several out there, and they're all pretty good. We kind of recommend perpetual real estate. And if you order both your courses at the same time, you got to have both the courses to take the exam. So that's 90 hours of training. But if you order them together with perpetual, I think you get about the best price out there. It's $499, it's $500. You can take the classes live during the daytime. So you can do, I think it's 7 days, 7.5 days for the 60-hour course, and 4 days in a row for the advanced course, basically 8 hours a day until hours are over. Or you can do it at night, like going to night school a couple nights a week for a couple months. Or you can do it online. It's kind of a self-paced program. I don't really recommend that unless, of course, maybe you have some college experience working online, such as in grad school or something like that, where that's pretty common and you're used to that. But I would say unless you've got online training experience at at least probably an undergrad or even better, a graduate level of college, I would recommend the live training, because there's a couple of reasons. One, you can actually be with get questions answered directly by the instructor as is going through the program. And also you meet other people that are going through the same struggles you are. In fact, one guy that sat across the aisle from me when I was taking my courses 18 years ago, he and I are both brokers. We've been in business the whole 18 years. And he helped me, I've helped him in various parts of our business. Though we haven't really dealt with each other in quite some time, but you're going to make relationships in that school just like you would anywhere else. So it's important. I think live classes are better, but if you have to work a job, that's fine. Take the online courses or do it at night, live at night. Then once you're done with the class, you'll have they give you a little exam and you get a certificate that you passed. And then they're going to tell you how to set up to take a proctored exam, which is a national and a South Carolina real estate exam. That's $63. And then when you're done with the real estate, you're taking the licensing exam. They give you a fingerprint application. You have to get electronic fingerprints done through a local organization. And at that time, you're now able to apply to the state for your license. You have all the prerequisites, but you need a broker in charge to do that for you, to sign off on your agreement. And that's when we would ask you at the latest, if you come on as one of our agents, we will sign that license application for you. Then after that, then we'll show you how to join the realtor board. That's necessary. In an MLS, you'll need to join one MLS. Again, when you add it all up, you're looking at $1,200 to $1,300 as your investment in the firm. Investment in yourself, excuse me. And that's how you obtain your license and start to work in business. Literally what we like to say, printing money. Okay. If you're already an agent, you already have your license, maybe you want to transfer out of inactive or you're active with another firm, switching your license to First Class Real Estate is pretty easy. You just go online where you renew your license. You change your old office code to our new office code, which is 26250, and we're immediately notified that you decided to come on board with us.